one neat thing about being up, and going to see the game in Montreal is just getting the sense of like that studio does seem like it's very kind of, independent from the EA that we know.
Right.
They're working on this brand new game. They've kind of been working on it in secret, and it kind of allows them to do some kind of different things up there.
This is almost like for the EA, they're almost taking a political stance with the game. So much they're trying to call attention to these private military, contractors, and it's almost like we want players to Google this stuff. And if you'd like to learn more about private military contractors, then read this book. And
yeah, definitely. I mean, they wouldn't really, outright say, we're trying to make a political statement. But yes, it was definitely that. It was like we want people to know more about it and let them kind of take things from there. It's a good time for this kind of game too, because there's a lot going on in Iraq that maybe people aren't kind of aware of. And it's this type of game that will actually, shed some light on that. I think it's, really, really fascinating that, there are almost as many private military, workers in Iraq right now as there are U.S. military. And the whole concept of, we talk about, pulling out the troops and stuff. That doesn't really apply to them because they're there as long as, as we're paying them. So, I mean, that's scary in a lot of ways, but it is fascinating, that's for sure. And
looks like it makes for a cool game.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, it's like, who would you rather be if you were out on the battlefield?
Yeah.
I mean, they've made some pretty significant changes to the gameplay. Like they added in this aggro meter, which is like, it's kind of interesting where it's like between the two characters it kind of moves left and right, so you actually kind of it changes the balance of the gameplay a little bit. So like as one person's shooting more, the aggro moves towards them, and then the enemies kind of focus in on them. So you can actually see it on the characters where they like the guy with more aggro kind of turns red a little bit, and the guy without it kind of becomes like he kind of gets a little bit transparent. But yeah, it actually comes into play in the gameplay because like as the enemies are focusing in on the one guy, the other guy can kind of sneak around, maybe do some headshots and stuff like that.
So you're saying also adds like to the strategy of it too, because you kind of have to tell one guy, it's like, quit shooting.
Right. Yeah, you might say like, stop shooting for a bit. I'm like going to run around. And actually, what the other thing about it too is like once you build up enough aggro, you can trigger this super move, which slows down all the enemies a little bit and makes you go faster. And it actually kind of has like when you run, it kind of has like that like kind of Gears of War kind of guy like camera look. Which actually that was one thing too. It seems like over this like past year, they've been influenced quite a bit from Gears. Like talking to all the guys up there, they played it quite a bit, and you can kind of see it in the gameplay now.
I mean, it's not so much like the smashing up against buildings and that kind of thing. It's more just like the CNN battle camera following.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's when you trigger that move. But there's also like, I mean, you do have the kind of cover. You can run up to something and cover. I think it's actually easier than in Gears because you don't actually have to trigger it. It all kind of works. Yeah.
I know back when I saw it, they had all these like crazy, like almost little mini games. Like when you would die, you would have to keep running from the light. And when one guy would die, or one guy would be like squirting blood, the other guy would like stuff a tampon in it to soak up.
Yeah, it was interesting because some of it's still there. Like you do actually have the tampon scene. You do have like doing a little bit of like the kind of CPR stuff. But there was one thing where it was actually they had a mini game that they were working on, which was a lot like Trauma Center in a way, where you actually had to like like do some surgery. But yeah, they actually did end up cutting that scene because what the thing about it, the mini games, was that they kind of pulled you out of the action a little bit.
Yeah.
So in theory it was kind of cool, but when they actually put it into the game, it didn't really work. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think like what ends up being in the final game will probably be a lot quicker in terms of like those mini games.
I also remember when I saw it, the game was just dripping with throbbing homoeroticism. The two guys slap each other on the ass.
Attaboy.
Just rubbing oils all over each other and
I don't know about
getting out of the hot tub.
Yeah,
I don't know if they ramped that up.
No, they've actually definitely toned it down, I would say. Like I think they did pay attention to what was said on the boards and what even what we had said too, like after seeing it, and like they do want to keep that kind of level of like humor and camaraderie and all that. Like for instance, you can still slap each other 5, but I didn't see any like butt slaps and stuff like that. It may still be in there, but I certainly didn't notice it when I was playing it.
Did you get to experience the other guy's AI at all? Like say if you were only playing by yourself?
Yep, yeah, and it's actually pretty good. It's neat because I mean you can give commands, but it's very simple. It's like, you know, run over there, cover me, that kind of stuff, and it's all, you can do it all based on the headset too. It has voice recognition, so it's like easy to pick up and play, and you don't really, like games like you know, Graw, for instance, at times I felt like it was a little bit too much. I had too many things to think about, too many you know, buttons on the controller to worry about, and all that. And this, it was just a little bit more pick up and play. They definitely said that they, you know, wanted to kind of capture that co-op feel of, say, like you know, the older games like Contra or something, where it's just two buddies, you can get like play together, you don't have to really think about too much, but it works, how you can work as a team. The one thing they did say from the beginning, this was last year or whatever, that was, you know, they're going to put it out when it's done, and it seems like they're taking a little bit of extra time on it, which is good. And really, you know, even in this stage, seeing something like the aggrometer kind of come in, which, you know, a lot of games, it's like, you know, we have the design doc, this is how it's going to be. These guys are kind of like tweaking and experimenting, and something like that. It was a pretty fundamental change to the gameplay, but I'm glad they did it because it actually does make a lot of sense, and it kind of gives you a little bit of it's something new in terms of the co-op space. So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing a completely hetero way.
Yeah!